Hello, everybody. I'm Jay Lynn, and welcome to episode 10 of my Minecraft Survival World. And we're going to be doing things a little bit different today. I figured 10's a nice round number, and I feel like we've built some pretty cool things over these 10 episodes here, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to just explore the world, revisit old projects, and while I'm at it, going to try to do a little work on each one while I'm there. So I'm kind of calling it a productive world tour. Thought it'd be kind of fun. And then in the end, I'll do a little fly around in creative mode just to give you all a good lay of the land and some of my plans for the future. But for now, we're just going to start where it all started at the original hidey hole. Now, with this particular build, I'm not going to change too much about it. I like kind of keeping the history with the first build here, and I feel like I did a pretty good job. The one thing I have been meaning to do is I dug this out to have some bookshelves, so I thought I'd finally put those in there after all this time and put a little knife in the kitchen. And that's really all I'm going to do for the interior of that one. So we're just going to hop over to the main base here where I built this water feature, which I've also been meaning to come and spruce up a little bit now that I've got some more to work with. Got some plants and lily pads and drip leaf. Really makes the pond look a lot cooler. I'm going to add a little bit of texture to all this cobblestone back here. And now we've also got plenty of bone meal to work with, so it's nice to be able to just get the grasses everywhere, and I think that's looking a lot cooler. So I go up and take a little nap. I was planning on starting to work on the main base here a little bit, but then I decided I better go back to that hidey hole and do a little bit in the front yard. So added some stones and some grass just to make it look a little more established. Now we're here at our starter base, which is definitely one of my favorite builds I've ever made of any kind. It being my first YouTube episode just had me super focused, and I'm super happy with how it came out. But one thing I've been procrastinating on was coming up on this roof and getting some texturing done. You're going to find throughout this episode just adding a little bit of texture to things kind of becomes a theme. I don't do anything too crazy, usually just a couple different blocks, but it's just a lot better than having all these planks around. And I wanted to get a little bit of shape on the roof here, so I came up with some fence posts to sharpen up the tower here. Now, I know you might not be able to see this very well on YouTube, but you're just going to have to trust me. It does look better. So I went on inside and did a little work on the tower itself, putting a little polished deep slate in with the deep slate. And I've gone this whole time without getting flowers planted in these flower pots, so this will feel a lot better. And yeah, I think the tower's looking pretty good here. I don't know how well you'll be able to see the texturing there, but it does make a difference. And yeah, at that point I realized most of my tools and armor were getting pretty close to the breaking point, so I went ahead and retired my original Fortune 3 pickaxe since I had another one made already. Then I came over to the cows and fed them until I got up to level 30 since I was at level 29, and came back and enchanted up a new shovel, which I needed because my old shovel had fortune, so I was getting nothing but flint. And then kind of old school style, I'm just using diamonds to repair the rest of my tools and armor. I know everyone's going to be wondering where's mending and all that, and we're getting pretty close to the time where I'm going to start doing something about that, but I like to move kind of slow. That way when you do get things like mending, it feels like a big deal. But yeah, we're going to finish up the roof here. Got the whole big dark oak section. And it's more work than it looks like. But I think it looks pretty good. Give you a little peek of the jungle roof here in the daytime, so you should be able to see things a little better. And now we'll head to the interior, which we actually did on episode 2, but I think it's probably the coolest interior I've ever made. I really like how it all came together. There's not really a whole bunch I want to do other than, as you guessed it, just getting a little bit of texture in the floor here. Went ahead and replaced some of these oak planks with some stripped oak as well, and yeah, I think we got things looking pretty good. Super happy with this base overall. It's been an awesome place to live, and it's built right on spawn, so it's probably going to be kind of my main base for the foreseeable future, even as I build other places. So. But yeah, episode 2, we came down here and built this windmill, which I know I'm going to be probably saying this kind of thing a lot, but it's definitely my favorite windmill I've ever made. I really like the chunky blades there. And yeah, just doing this all for YouTube and getting it documented really has me doing my best building I've ever made, so I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, we got our interior here, nothing too fancy, but it's enough to call the interior done there. And I know I said I was going to turn this into a villager-powered wheat farm, but I got a new place for that, so I'm just going to turn it into a little storage place for my crops. Just to stick with the theme of things, gonna get a little texturing done out here. And after all this time, I'm realizing that I didn't finish this wall here, so went ahead and filled it up with some cherry wood. As you can see, the base in the spawn area is trying to use a lot of the 1.20 wood, cherry, and bamboo, so I actually think they look better together than I thought they would have for sure. Yeah, as you can see, the big chunky blade I think is really what makes it, and we got one on the other side as well. But next episode, we worked our way over here towards this barn. We kind of built this field here over the first few episodes here, and I'm feeling like it's pretty finished for the most part, so I'm going to kind of just leave that as is. Got a cool little starter field, but built this barn over here in the next episode, and I guess while I'm on my way here, I should stop at the task board here, which I haven't looked at in a few episodes, and we've gotten a few things done. We got the sanctuary and the sheep farm done here, so we'll cross those off, and we'll be crossing a few more things off as this episode goes. But yeah, built this barn over here, which by far the coolest barn I've ever made, and a lot of the reason for that, which is a tip I would make, is don't be afraid to go a little bigger than you might think, because even though it is more materials, it does make it easier just to get cool shape and all that going on, and I think that's really what led to it being my favorite barn. And once again, sticking with the theme, gonna get a little texture on the sides here. And I know it's getting a little repetitive and kind of a tedious process, but I just think it really does make a big difference not having the whole walls of planks and just breaking things up just a little bit. But the main thing I'm wanting to do up here is get a nice custom tree built over in this area here. So we're going to have to start by taking this one down, and I'm going to need a whole bunch of spruce wood and leaves, so I go and take a bunch down from my spruce area as well. I really enjoy making custom trees, and I've gotten quite a bit better over the time of doing them, but they are a project that definitely takes some time to do. I think I'm down to where this probably took me maybe 45 minutes, maybe even more than that, and I don't know if that sounds like a lot or a little to you, but it's definitely less than it used to be. But yeah, I'm just making a nice tall spruce tree, start at the top here and work my way down. With each level of branches, I try to come out one more log, that way it just gets a nice shape to the tree, and I try to cover the tops and the sides of all the logs, and that way you end up just getting a nice, interesting shape. And I saved you all the trips of coming down and checking things out here, but we're getting pretty close at this point. This time I felt like I just needed to do a little something about the trunk, and I wanted to come down just a little bit more with the branches. So I fattened the trunk up a little bit and came another layer of branches, and at this point I was feeling pretty good. I like that it looks a little wonky. Trees in the real world look a little janky, so I think it looks really good. It's actually one of my favorite spruce trees I've made. And I'm sure you're wanting me to check out the inside of the barn here, but that came a couple episodes later, so we'll come back to that. And I don't want to leave this side completely untouched, but I also don't want this episode to be hours long, so I'm just going to do a little snap of my fingers here. Boom. Got another little tree built. This one's really wonky. In editing, I'm realizing I need to do a little more to that, fix things up, but I'll come back to that. But yeah, I got some rails put in the side here, a little texture in the barn, got some more animals, and just bringing things along. I do like how things are coming together. Yeah, I just need another branch coming off the right side there. We'll even things out a little bit. And then from there, next episode, we did some detailing around the whole world, but the main thing was that we got our tree farm started and got a nice sized area of all the different types of trees, and I really like how that's going. And I'm not going to do a whole bunch of these other than work on the paths a little bit, just getting some random fences along and then some greenery just along the paths, because I'm using deeper into the woods there. I'm going to be chopping those trees down, so there's no point in putting a bunch of grass there, but just making the paths look a little better really does a lot to feel more worked on and man-made. So we'll go around and go through all of our different forests and spruce things up a little bit. I should mention that all these forests are going to get their own little special treatment at some point, and I'm planning on building a storage building in every different one and giving each one its own theme, like bringing some mud into the mangrove forest and all that here. But for now, I'm just kind of working on the trails. That's just a lot more work than I'm wanting to do at the moment. And I did get the acacia forest. I seem to have missed the clip there, but and yeah, this cherry grove forest I probably made a little bigger than I needed to, but again, when I decide to come and do something with it, I probably won't regret that. In the next episode, we came over here and built another portal. It's my first time going with a nice big portal like this, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's a cool thing to do. And I was definitely inspired by Grian's Nether portal and the Hermitcraft server and the whole Rift situation. The Hermitcraft Empire's crossover there. And I'll go around and get a few fences around the area here as well. And I'm not going to do too much on the portal here itself, except you guessed it, just a little bit of texturing. Climbing all over this thing and getting to all the different cracks and crevices was definitely a little bit of work, but I think it's well worth it, even though it's not the biggest thing in the world, and you probably can't even really tell that well on YouTube, I imagine, but believe me, over time, just all this texturing and stuff does all add up, and I think it's well worth it. Yeah, I'm super happy with another portal here. I will point out that at some point in the future, I do plan on doing something under here. I'm thinking maybe just kind of turn this into like a nether biome in the overworld and have it be kind of my main storage for my nether materials. But could be a little while before we get to that. There's just so many things I want to do, but that is in my head. And the bridge here is also a nice, cool little thing we got built in that episode. But next we came down here and built a mine. As with all my projects in this world so far, I'm just super happy with the mine. I went a little bigger than I had always gone with my mines before, and just gives you more room to work and do cool things. I really like the crane here and the piles of the ore here. Got a nice little work area in here. And I had a viewer suggestion from Robert. I haven't forgotten you. I do plan on doing a little smuggler's cove in there at some point, but I'm not going to do that today. It's a little more than I want to work on. And a little extra storage area with the elevator up top and stairs all the way down to level 0. But the main thing I'm wanting to do in this area is get a boat built. I have never built a boat. I've built a lot of things. I have never built a boat. I've seen a lot be built of all the videos I've watched, and I'm trying to just do this completely freehand. I'm not looking at a picture or anything. I'm just gonna see what comes out. And I like how it turned out, and I had a lot of fun building it, so let's just let it roll. I will toot my own horn here a little bit and say I was pretty happy with the shape. That's my first attempt. I didn't have to fix anything there. I was very happy with it. Keep shaping things up a little bit. Get working on the sails here, and I'm actually gonna keep them closed since we're docked. We're not out sailing actively, so they're just gonna stay wrapped up, but still a nice way to bring a little color. I think they're looking pretty good there. I think a little yellow will even brighten things up a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. Go ahead and try to just add a few details to the boat, make it look a little more lively, change the planks out for fences, which I think looks a lot better. I'm just getting some oak in there. Just use some fences to round off a few of these corners here. And just a few trapdoors, get a little more oak, pop of color, and at that point I think I'm going to call it. Pretty simple, but for being my first boat ever and not even using a reference or anything, I'm super happy with it. Come out here, see kind of what it looks like from a distance, and when I turned around, I definitely liked that pop of color there. Any way to get color in your world is always nice. So we'll finish up at the mine down here by doing what we're always doing, adding a little bit of texture. And I accidentally went a little out of order here, but we're just going to roll with it. So 2 episodes later, and what I actually called episode 7.5, which I plan on doing more of, where I just I called it a 0.5 just because I stayed focused on one single project and just did it from start to finish. And I plan on doing that with a lot of things, including all the different forests I've built so far. So they'll all get this kind of treatment at some point. But yeah, we came up and did the oak forest up here and built this really cool log cabin. I really like how this interior came together, and there's really not a whole lot I'm gonna do up here. I feel I did pretty well and finished the job, but since I'm here, I might as well do a little texture. I think it's looking pretty good. The one thing I do want to do up here is come over here to this rock wall that we made that kind of separates it, and just give it a little bit of texturing and detail itself, which I actually lost a lot of the recording of this, so we're not getting very much, but we'll take a look from a distance here, and you can see that definitely just makes it pop a little bit more than if it was all just stone there. Pretty happy with the area overall. So now we'll go back in time a little bit to episode 7, which is when I built what I'm calling Microfarm Mountain. Trying to just have all my little microfarms kind of centrally located around the spawn area. This here is where I'm going to move my villager-powered wheat and carrot farms, and this little building is going to kind of just be my base of operations up here. And then over here, going to have a bamboo farm. And down here, we got our pumpkin farm, which we actually got built in that episode, and I haven't checked in a while, so we'll see how many pumpkins we got. Not too bad. I kind of thought there would have been a little more, but that's okay. I'm not complaining. And yeah, heading over here, we got our sugarcane farm, which same thing, we got built in that episode as well, and it's probably a similar amount of sugarcane. And yes, it is, and they're not producing super amounts, but the way I play in a single player world, over time, by the time I'm really needing a whole bunch of them, they're going to be plenty for me. Over here, we got our cactus farm, just old classic cactus farm there. Got the water routing the cactus into this chest in the building to the side. And yeah, as far as cactus goes, I never need that much cactus, so that's going to be more than I need. Down here, I'm going to turn into automatic food farm, so this will have like chicken cooker, cow cooker. This is going to be a honey farm at some point. And then down here is going to be the melon farm. And as you've seen, a lot of them are just facades and are filled with solid rock wall behind it, so got a whole lot of clearing to do. I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. Ended up being quite a lot of work, to be honest, but nice to get done. While I was working on my little base of operations building here, I found the elevator that goes down to the mines, so that'll be cool to have connected right up here at a convenient spot. Did a whole lot of digging up here, definitely took some time, but it was actually pretty nice because I still don't have enough stone and dirt for my liking. I like to have chests full of that stuff by now, and I'm really not looking like that, so we'll take it. Nice little sleep after a hard day's work, and now it's time. I'm actually gonna get a few of these farms built, but I'm gonna need some iron for that. And I didn't show you my little smelter that I built down in the mine area here, which is really nice and handy. Come down and smelt things really fast. I needed a bunch of iron because I'm going to be needing hoppers and all kinds of things for these farms. And considering that I already kind of showed you how I built these in that episode, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I did realize when I was in here that I built this window off center, and that would have bugged me. I'm glad I caught that and got it fixed. But yeah, we're just going to kind of go through this kind of fast here. If you really want to see how these are built, you can go back to my episode 7 and I go through the process a lot better. But got this all set up and realized I was setting this up for the wrong farm at first, so I ran up to the pumpkin farm to just get a little reference. Even though I've built this many times, I don't really know why I needed to make this trip. In the end, I kind of regretted it because I made my way down here, just enjoying my day. Then something happened that hasn't happened since I got diamond armor. Walk in the door, and I'm sorry, the audio was gone, so you don't hear the boom. But there was a boom. First death in quite a while, but I'm actually doing pretty good considering how bad I was doing to start. And yeah, spawn right on top of my house since I had destroyed my bed. But that is the nicest thing about having your base be at spawn. If I had traveled thousands of blocks away, that would have been a lot more of a problem. But go down, pick up my stuff, patch the walls, and get back to work. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of show you. We got our tracks here. I made it 5 wide so that it'll pick up all the things. I put some dirt scaffolding down to make it easier to place my observers and my pistons. Go ahead and get the floor dirt down so that I can plant the melons. Make sure it's hydrated so they grow a little faster. Get some redstone so all the observers and pistons are connected, so every time an observer observes the melon stalk changing, it'll knock down all the pistons. Like I said, go back to my episode 7 if you want real details on how these farms were built. They're nothing too fancy. Got impatient, went ahead and bone milled the melons here just to get it working. Did a little work on the inside. Again, this is another thing I'll come back eventually and kind of make these insides fancier and livelier, but for now it's better than just stone walls. But yeah, now we're gonna work our way up to the bamboo farm, and this episode's already turning out to be a lot longer than I planned on, so I'm just gonna save you the whole building process here, and boom, there we go. Like I said, go back to episode 7. It's the same farm that is my sugarcane farm, if you want to know how it was built. I head down to the food farm, and figured a good way to get that started is building a chicken farm, chicken cooker. So there it is, and the reason I didn't show the process here is because it's not mine. This is only the second one of these I've ever built, so I had to use a tutorial, so I actually used Madzify's tutorial. I'll put the link in the description if you want to see how it was built. But yeah, essentially the dispenser dispenses a bunch of eggs, which sometimes break into chickens, which will hang out down there like these baby chickens, and when they grow up they'll get burnt by that lava, which shoots out every time an egg is dispensed. So pretty simple, but also pretty cool. It'll be nice having a emergency stock of chicken. I was planning on doing the honey farm here, but I don't want to use my natural spawn bees on my base up there, and I also don't feel like going on a trek to find more bees, so I'll come back to that at some point. But yeah, so feeling pretty good about the farm area here. This base of operations area and the wheat and carrot farm will come later. I'm be working with villagers here pretty soon. Once I get working with them, I'll come and build this up. And then yeah, the little base of operations area is just a little more of a project than I want to work on at the moment. So yeah, Another stop by the task board here and got a few of these little farms done, which is nice. The bee will come later. And next episode, in episode 8, we built our animal sanctuary, which is what we did with the interior of this barn here, and it turned out to be one of my favorite projects ever. I really like the diorama effect and just making your totally your own environment in here. And it's kind of chaotic, got lots of animals, but I also like having all the animals. And I got Ralph, our other camel Camilla over here. And I will get names for all the animals. I've got them all planned, and I've gotten a few suggestions. Again, once I get going with villagers and have name tags, that will start that process. But I feel I did pretty good in finishing up in here. There's not a whole lot I want to do. Got a pitcher pod here, first one found, so I'll put that in my chest of keepsakes. But yeah, I feel like I did pretty well in here. Not a whole lot I want to do other than, you guessed it, just adding a little bit of texture to the mountains here and some stairs to round things off a little bit. Clean up the entrance area here a little bit, just make it look a little nicer. And yeah, I think this is a really cool project. I plan on doing more things like this throughout the world, the little diorama ideas. I think it's fun. Very happy with how it turned out. But yeah, from there, after using all the wool to build that sky and all that stuff in there, I needed a whole lot of wool for that project. You would think I would have built the wool farm first, but that's actually what came next in episode 9. And that's right down here, which I will eventually make a path down here. I think this area came together really nicely. It's got its own hidden little city down here, and wool farms are cool because they're a good project to really use some color. And yeah, I think the color down here is really awesome. Go ahead and take a peek at how much wool it's creating, and yeah, it's actually doing better than I realized. That'll add up pretty quick over time. So next project that I need a lot of wool shouldn't be a problem. And I'm gonna come and do something to these interiors, but first I kind of got a plan of making the entrance down here just blend into the mountain a little more, so make it not so obviously that I made it there. So I'm going to start by extending the dirt out all the way to make it meet the rest of the mountain, so it's a nice smoother wall there. Yeah, you can kind of see what I'm going for. Obviously needs some shaping and blending in, but that does already look quite a bit better. Go up top and finish off getting the dirt put down, which you can see why I run out of dirt and stone so quickly. It really adds up when you do things like this. But yeah, start doing my best to kind of form it to the side of the mountains and blending the corners and shaping things out a little bit. Go ahead and take a boat out to my normal viewing area and get a little view from a distance here. And yeah, I think that's looking quite a bit better. It'll look a lot cooler when I get a little shape to it and get it blended in a little bit, but you can see that the potential is there. It just needs a little love. So we'll start just making this wall not so flat. And try to blend the corners a little bit and get some stone formations going on as well, which will blend it in with the stone that I had already had there. And dig a little out to make it so it's not such a level, flat top there, just to round things off a little bit. And little trick I learned from Scar, I like to have the dirt overhanging just a little bit. And yeah, big difference there now. I think it's looking really good. As far as putting trees and plants on and stuff, I'm going to wait to do that until, because I know I'm going to come back and do something here eventually, so I'll kind of wait to do that until I've got things built. But it's looking a lot better. But now to get a little work done on these interiors, I'm not doing anything fancy at all, but I figure I'll just go around with some wool and kind of match the colors up with the sheep modules themselves. Simple, but already looking better. Now to just go to do it for all the colors. Go ahead and get something done with the floors here. Just going to do a nice wood slab floors. Got a little lazy with the ceilings, but I figure since we're built into a mountain, stone and cobblestone ceilings, they make a little bit of sense. But yeah, got the interiors at least looking a little more presentable. Kind of call it step one. I'll probably come back and detail things out more from there eventually, but even for now where it's at, it's better than it was. And yeah, that's actually it for what we've built so far in this world, and I would say for the progress I've made in just a few months is so much more than I had ever made in a few months before, so I'm super excited. But one last thing I want to do is come up here and build these couple bridges that I've just been walking across, these dirt bridges all this time. Figure get something that looks a little better. And I'm just going to kind of let it go here for a second. Do a little work to make sure everything's symmetrical. Got 3, 3, and then it doesn't matter, and then 3, and 3. That way you know your bridge is symmetrical, got a good starting point. Now I'm gonna extend it out. This is gonna be one of my main roads, so it's gonna be one of the 5 wide areas. So it's actually gonna be a pretty big bridge. And I'm just going to kind of stick with the stone theme here. Use some slabs just to give a little elevation of the non-walking area. And I'm liking how it's coming together now. I just got to work on getting a cool little arch shape to it going down here. And I'm not fully fleshing this out and finishing it when I actually come to the area and work on the river down here and work on this little canyon area. I'll put a little more work into these bridges, but it's a lot better than walking across the dirt bridges that I have been doing. Haven't gotten too many thunderstorms in this world. I feel like it's been a long time since I've actually had a thunderstorm in my Minecraft world, but go ahead and sleep that away. And I like how the bridge is looking. Like I said, I'll put a little more work into it when I come down here and work on the river and this canyon overall, but I think it looks good up there. Gonna do a little bit of a different bridge over here since this isn't quite as main of a road. It'll only be 3 wide. I'm going to go with more of a wooden bridge and a dipping arch rather than a rising arch. Very similar to the bridge I built up in the Nether area, but I think it comes together pretty nice. put up some railings just to make things a little bit safer. Even though down here at this bottom section, it don't go all the way up, so I just got to be real careful there. That's all right. It looks better that way. Yeah, I'm happy with the bridge. I think just adding these couple bridges is a lot better than having those dirt crossings. And then one last thing I want to do is kind of do a little shape of this over here where I extended the walkway out a little bit. We're just going to use a little cobblestone to blend it together a little bit better. Yeah, I like how the bridges are looking from down here, and we got this looking a little bit better. Still not great, but definitely better. Go ahead and end off with doing everybody's favorite thing, I'm sure, after this episode, adding a little bit of texture into the cobblestone here. I know it's been a lot of texturing. Thanks for bearing with me. But yeah, I think we're looking pretty good here. And the bridge looking better. So yeah, I appreciate you bearing with me. I know it's been a very long episode here. I've kind of enjoyed revisiting old things, and I mentioned I thought it'd be kind of fun to hop into creative mode here, so do a little magic trick. And boom, I can fly. So yeah, well, I thought it'd be kind of fun to, because I hop in creative mode just to sketch things out and plan things out. It's a good thing to do. I don't travel too far or like discover new things, but it's nice to hop into creative mode just to test things out and find out scale of things and all that. But yeah, nice little bird's eye view for you here, which I think is, the base is really coming together. It's a pretty big area actually that we've got going. I know I didn't show much of the waterfall. The waterfall is a big part of the mountain here. And yeah, you can see how big the cherry grove is here. I'll eventually get there and do some work. And you can see the path network from up here, I think, is looking really cool. As I've mentioned many times before, paths are one of my favorite things. I went quite a while in my Minecraft building years without worrying about paths too much. And once I started doing them, I realized it was something I'd been slacking on. But yeah, as far as plans for the future, I'm thinking this island here is kind of where I'm going to be spending the next few episodes. I'm going to chop off this area and turn it into an island, and it's going to kind of be my villager area. I'm going to try to have a bunch of free roaming villagers with their own houses and places to work, and cool little community down there. Very similar to my world that I have a world tour of that I made before I started this world. So it's always fun working with villagers. They can be a lot of work. But yeah, the view from down here, it's going to be cool having that to look at from this area, and it'll be cool having this area to look at from up there. So yeah, that's probably where I'll be spending a good amount of the next few episodes here. And then I thought it'd be fun to kind of show the way to that jungle that I've shown you before. So this road here is going to end up being kind of a main road. I'll end up making it deep slate or stone or something to make it look a little more present. And it's going to kind of be a main road that comes all the way out here, all the way along here, with a big bridge going across this water over to these mountains here. So those are the jungle mountains that you've seen in a couple episodes, and there's the base right there. So it goes to show you I'm really not that far away. It's far away when you're walking on foot, but once I have wings, I won't be that far away. But I'm still going to connect it with roads. And yeah, also give you a good view of this jungle area. It's a humongous jungle area, and I like this river going through. Really cool jungle area. But yeah, my plan is to come over here, and my starter base for this area is going to be kind of on this hill here, so I'm able to have a view looking at the road towards the original base, and then a view looking into this crazy jungle mountain area. Definitely the coolest jungle area I've ever seen. I really like how it's kind of got these mountains in the middle which separate things and give it a couple different sections. Very cool jungle area. And yeah, just the seed overall, as I've said before, is just a very cool seed, because if you just keep heading west, so that main road I'm making, I plan on eventually bringing all the way out here. So you got the jungle here, and then right here you got this really cool icy peaks mountains with the cherry grove. One of the cooler cherry groves I've seen as well. Don't really have plans in my head for this area yet, but it's definitely an area worth doing something in. Even if I don't get to it, maybe if you download the seed, which will be in the description, you can do something with it and send me a picture. And while we're at it, exploring the seed here, go ahead and make the trek north to the mangrove swamp area and the coral reef and all that. A little bit of a trek. I figure on the way out there, I'd like to just say I really appreciate your patience and this video getting out. I know it's taken a little longer than I planned on even, and that's gonna happen sometimes. I've just kind of gotten into other video games along with just being real busy in life. Obviously this isn't my job. I work and go out of town on the weekends and all kinds of stuff, so sometimes episodes will take a little longer. Minecraft has always been a game I come back to. A lot of times I go really hard for a month or 2 or 3, and then I just take a little break, but I always come back. I will say, when I started this YouTube channel, I didn't really honestly think it was going to turn into much, so I wasn't really worried about it. But I do realize that I want to try to keep a certain amount of consistency for you, so I'm going to try to do better. But there will be times when episodes are a little slower, but it will always come again where I'm pushing them out at a pretty good pace. But yeah, so made it up here all the way to the mangrove swamp area and this humongous coral reef, as you saw during that travel there. So I've got enough coral, more coral than I'll ever need, and this really cool mangrove swamp area. You can see I've already got the Nether portal here because I plan on doing something on this specific area. I love this rock formations back there. And yeah, we'll go ahead and head this way, just on our way home, show you how cool some of this stuff is out here. Just overall a really cool area, especially with this whole ocean being a coral reef. That makes it even cooler. So I'm gonna do some kind of work out here. I'm kind of thinking a pirate themed build at one of these places, but don't hold me to that. And we'll work our way back. This is the desert village where we found Ralph, our first camel. And we'll just keep going here, and you'll see that we got this humongous mesa area, which just goes way off to the right, way off to the left. It's a huge area. I think this little area specifically, with the river going through and the cool spikes here, be a really cool area to do some kind of western build. Obviously, I've got lots of ideas in my head. I don't know what all I'm going to get to, but like I said, I would love to see some of you guys if you want to download the seed and do something in some of these cool areas. I would love to see pictures or anything like that. And just keep heading north, and we come to this area, which is right behind my base, which I plan on turning into my main farming area. Just gonna have a bunch of wheat fields and carrot fields and all that over here with this cool little lake. I think it's a cool little valley down here, and that'll be a fun project. That one I'll definitely do at some point, I know that. And then just climb this wall and we're back at base. So that shows you just how well connected this seed is. Everything's within 1,000 blocks, or within 2,000 blocks of any direction of my base. So sounds like kind of a lot, but it's also really not, especially once you get Elytra. Things really become closer. And yeah, one last little bird's eye view of the base here. Good little wrap around of the tree. I really like how the tree turned out. Pretty janky, but I think that works well for trees. This one I need a little work on. I'll just do that off camera. I did think it'd be cool to give you one little view of the whole area at nighttime. Starting a little before night, because what's cooler than a Minecraft sunset? I think Minecraft sunsets are very beautiful. Yeah, I think the area lit up just looks really cool. I'm going to be doing more work on the lighting goes on, get rid of all the torches eventually and get a bunch of lamp posts and stuff, which will add to the area quite a bit. But now you can kind of get the idea that things are looking pretty good around here. And with that, I think I'm going to call it an episode here. I really appreciate you all hanging with me. I know it's been a long one. Sure, some of you will like that, some of you won't, but hey, I appreciate you coming either way, and have a good day.